Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Living Purposely on Purpose with me, Coach Lynn. This is a space where faith, mindset, and real life experiences come together to help you to break through barriers and step boldly into the life that God has created for you. Each week, we dive deep into powerful conversations about purpose, relationships, resilience, as well as personal growth, bringing you strategies, inspiration, and raw, unfiltered truth to help you to live with intention. Whether you're searching for clarity, healing from past struggles, or simply looking for motivation to keep you pushing forward, you're in the right space. So grab your journal, open up your heart, and let's walk this journey of purpose together. This episode, actually, we're going to be diving into some of the questions that were shared with me via email that some listeners wanted to know about as far as their credit. So we're bringing back Renee, our specialist on all things financial, right? So she will be coming on in just a few seconds, and she'll be sharing with us some answers to some of your questions that you shared via email. So thank you guys. If you do have questions that you want to ask Renee for when she's back on the podcast, just shoot them over to livingpurposelypodcast at gmail.com, and we will be able to share your question on air as we will be doing as well today. Thank you guys so much as I bring Renee on. Welcome back again, Renee. Thank you so much for, being here with us as our financial guru, so to speak. We had a lot of questions that came in from my email, which is livingpurposelypodcast at Gmail. People sent in their questions, and we're going to answer them today. And since we don't have a lot of time, right, because Renee's a busy lady, y'all, and we are appreciative of when she comes by and is able to respond to you guys' questions. And as I said in the intro, if you have questions after listening to this podcast, you can go ahead and send those questions in to livingpurposelypodcast at gmail.com, and we will be sure to answer them as well on air, because as we all know, Renee has decided that she is willing, and we're so appreciative of her being able to step in and help us out with these things as our financial educator on this platform. So again, thank you again, Renee, for being here. And before we get started, would you like to say anything before I ask the first question?
Absolutely. I just want to thank you again for having me. Thank you for making me your resident guru on finance. I really, really appreciate it. There were some great questions. So we're going to answer a few of them today. Hopefully we can get through all of them at some point. But I'm just going to focus on maybe the first three and maybe a bonus a little bit later. So thank you. Thank you to all your listeners, especially the guys who submitted questions.
Thank you. So the first question that these are not in any order. I actually put them together in groups before I sent them to you. So we're dealing with credit right now. There was a lot of questions that came in around credit. So the first question that we're going to respond to is, what are the top 3 things someone can do today to begin improving their credit score, even if they're starting from a low point?
Okay, great question. Amazing question. I love to answer these types of questions. When I saw it, I got excited because this is something that I talked about on one of my lives on how to build and maintain positive credit. So the very first thing you want to do is pay on time, no exceptions. On-time payments make up about 35% of our credit score. So 35 of 100 is a pretty big number. That's over a third of our credit mix. So we want to make sure that we pay on time. Even if you got late payments right now, that's okay. You got to start somewhere. Start today, pay on time, no exceptions. Because what that's going to do is going to help to build in your positive credit. And it may help to balance out some of those late pays. So if you start paying now and as time goes on, eventually you'll get caught up and you'll supersede those late payments. So begin to pay on time right now, no exceptions. Okay. The second thing we want to do is keep your credit utilization low. Now, if you have a credit card, for instance, and your limit is $5,000, you don't want to spend the whole $5,000. I know we like to shop. Some of us, we like to get the drip. We like to look good, smell good, eat good, or whatever. But we don't want to go out and spend up all of our maximum balance, whatever our limit is. So we want to keep it low. Okay, so ideally we want to keep it at 10 to 30%. 30% is what we say, keep it at 30%, but 10% is ideal. So I know 10% of 5,000 may be difficult because that's not a lot. But again, we're building positive credit and we want to maintain it because ultimately, we want to use our credit for leverage, maybe to get a home in the future, maybe to purchase another home, purchase a vehicle for big purchases. So we want to keep our utilization low. So between 10 and 30% of whatever our limit is, we want to keep it at that. We don't want to go over that. Now, I always tell people things happen. Life happens, life be life. And sometimes, as the young people say, and so, credit cards are used for emergencies. And so if we've got that emergency car repair bill that we need, I live in the South, so it's pretty hot down here. If my AC goes out, I'm going to have to pull out that credit card maybe. So if something happens and there's an emergency where you have to go over the 30%, 10 or 30%, that's okay. But pay it down as soon as you can so that you can keep your utilization low. And what that does is it raises your score, of course, because if your utilization is low, it shows the creditor that, hey, you're responsible with your credit. You've got a $5,000 limit, but you've only used 500 of your limit. So it shows that you're responsible. So if you want to get new credit, or they'll just send you other cards, or they may increase your limit because you've shown and proven yourself to be responsible with your credit. So we want to keep it as low as we can. That's the second thing. The third thing we want to do is add positive credit accounts. Now, we want to do this because, again, we'll have access to more credit, more lines of credit. So you want to add positive accounts. Say, for instance, you've got 2 credit cards. You want to add more accounts because it's going to add to your score. It's going to increase it. So maybe you want to get a secured card. So, that's access to more credit. So the more credit you have access to, it's going to it's going to raise your score. Again, it shows that you're responsible with your credit. So you can go out there and build, get other positive credit accounts, maybe another credit card. It could be a secured or an unsecured card, maybe a personal loan. Things of that nature. So you want to add more positive credit accounts so you can have access to more credit, which is going to increase your score. So those are just a couple of the things, or a few of the things that you could do to start building your credit, getting on the right track. Even if you're starting with a low score, you may be at a 400. You never know. If you add positive accounts, another credit card account, and if you start to pay on time in 6 months, you may have an increase 20, 30 points or more. You never know.
Yeah, those are some great advice. I know one of the things that I learned early on in helping my credit to grow was when it came to my credit card, I wouldn't spend on it unless I knew I could pay it off, or at least pay it down to 10%
Yes.
before the end of the month, when the payment was due, right? So that was like, if I couldn't afford to do that, I wasn't going to buy it. But like you said, in case of emergency, life be life in, and that happens, then you can go ahead and try to pay it down as fast as you can. So great points on those. I hope you guys are taking notes.
Absolutely. Great
So
point. And I love that. Again, goes back to that word responsibility. You were showing that you are a responsible person by saying, hey, if I can't afford this, I'm not going to get it. If I can't pay it down, or if I can't afford to pay the balance or whatever is owed, I'm not going to charge on it. That's responsible. Because we're just shopping because we want to shop, or because we see something we want, not necessarily something we need. And we know the credit card is there, so we use it just because. But when an emergency comes, we want to have it for that, just in case, or something like that.
absolutely. This question is not a part of the 3, but I just thought of this. Suppose someone's credit is really down to like where they need help. And you know how those, what do they call it when they combine everything and you pay one monthly payment?
Debt consolidation loan.
Consolidation, yes. Are those things good for people to do, or?
They are good depending on the situation. So with credit restoration, we look at the whole credit picture. So if someone has, again, if it's a situation with late pays, a debt consolidation loan may be a good thing, because Instead of having 10 payments that you're late on, you can consolidate all those 10 payments and just have one payment. And so you can make that payment, and that's going to boost your score. Now, if it's a situation where you got derogatory items on your credit, maybe it's something that's fraudulent. Maybe you haven't checked your credit in 2 years and somebody sold your identity and you don't know about it. The first thing you want to do is definitely check your credit report, because you want to see what's on it. You may have derogatory items that aren't yours. You may have items on there that are being reported late that you paid off. It may be a derogatory hit on your report, and maybe it's paid off. In that case, that's a whole other entity where you can utilize our credit attorneys to litigate on your behalf. So we want to make sure that you check your credit report. But yes, debt consolidation loans work great depending on the situation. It's a case by case basis. It depends on the individual's situation.
Okay. All right. Good to hear. So question 2 would be, what are some common credit myths that are holding people back from true financial progress?
Okay. So some common myths. I got about 3 of them, a few of them. Again, hopefully we'll get to touch on these, some of the others sometime soon in the near future. But one of them is, and this one really caught me by surprise, is that checking your credit score will hurt you. Checking your credit score will not hurt you. Okay. Checking your credit score is considered a soft inquiry. Soft inquiries don't affect your score. They don't hurt you. They don't hit you negatively. Now, the only thing that does hurt is a hard inquiry. And of course, we know that's when you go to a creditor, a car lot, you're applying for credit somewhere, a home loan. Those are hard inquiries, and they do hurt your score. Every time there's a hard inquiry on your credit report, it brings your score down, because it's getting checked. So it's bringing your score down by a few points. And so multiple hard inquiries could have a really cause your score to really, really dip. So we got to be careful with that. But we want to check our score, our credit report, at least once a year. Go to annualcreditreport.com. You get a copy of your score, a copy of your report absolutely free. Now, the scores aren't included. You can pay for the score if you want to get the scores, but you really don't need the scores unless you just want to know where you are exactly. But you just want to know what's on your report. But checking your score will not hurt you. A soft inquiry will not hurt your score at all. We recommend that you check your score at least, or your report at least once per year, and you can get that absolutely free at annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
Is that closing old accounts will improve your score. That is absolutely false.
What's
absolutely.
that
again? Closing old accounts will improve your score. They won't. Closing old accounts will hurt your score. Why? Because so a part of our credit mix or our credit report is the length, or our credit history, the length of accounts, or the length of time, the amount of time that those accounts have been open. So the longer they've been open, the better. So if someone has a mortgage that they've been paying for 15 years, that's a gold mine right there. Especially if you've been paying on time. You've been paying on time for 15 years. That shows the creditors that you are credit worthy. So if you have old accounts just sitting there, even if you're not utilizing them, maybe an old credit card account from a department store that you got, 7 years ago, keep it open. You don't want to close that, because that's helping your score. If you close it out, it's going to hurt your score, because number one, you've lost a line of credit. Number two, you've lost that history. You lost that amount of time. So even if you close that out and 2 months later you open another one, well, you're starting a new credit account. You don't have as much leverage there because it doesn't show that it's been open as long. So you never want to close out your old accounts. You want to keep them open. My suggestion to my clients is always keep it open, even if you're not using it all the time. Every now and then, maybe once every 90 days, charge something on it. If it's $20, charge $20, pay it down to $15 and keep a $5 balance. That's going to make your score stay up there and go up. So you never want to close out your old accounts. It's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you if you close them out. So keep those accounts open. One more myth I want to talk about is that you can't build credit without money. You absolutely can. You can build credit without money. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to be a thousandaire or whatever to build credit. You can get a secured card for as low as $200 and start building your credit. So even if you don't have the $200 yet, hey, save it up. $50 here, $50 there. get your secured card. You'll pay the $200. They may have an annual fee or something to open it. So it may cost you maybe about $250. But what you're doing, even though it's a secured card, you've got at least $200 in credit that you can utilize at some point. So even though it's your money that you're sorting it with, it's still a reportable credit line. So you're building credit on that card with that $200 secured. And who knows? So after a certain amount of time, normally the creditors, when you show yourself worthy and responsible, they'll give you the credit for the $200 back. I've done it myself. I got $400 back on a secured card that I'd opened, and I wasn't even expecting the money back, but they gave it back to me when I showed myself worthy. So at some point, it'll flip for you in your favor. They'll give you the money back, and then they'll increase your credit limit. So now you're in an unsecured situation where you don't need money to secure credit. So it's a good thing. You can build credit without a whole bunch of money. You need something to start with, but $200 is not a lot of money. Again, if you don't have it to start with, just save it up and get that secured card.
That's right. Okay. I remember when my credit was really like down in the dumps, I was able to acquire a credit card, a secured credit card, like you're saying, and it did help my credit to boost, and it helped me a lot. I will actually place a link in the description for anyone that wants to use. It's called self credit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually get, you don't even have to come up with $200. I think it's $35, but you have to pay it monthly. And for, I think it's like 12 months that you do that. But in the process, your credit is being built. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So great tips.
I've never used Self, but I know people who have. So it's a little bit different. It's like a credit line, but
Yes.
you're paying into it, but it's not like a secured card. With a secured credit card, you can actually use it like a credit card at a department store or something like that. So it's a little bit different, but it is a credit building product that a lot of people use and have success with.
Yes, yeah. They now have, it's a secured line, but now they give you the option to get the card as well. It's a MasterCard. So you can use it in stores because it starts to accumulate a cash value to it the more you pay into it. So yeah. But yeah, it's definitely something you can do if you don't have that immediate $200. And then you can always add to it the amount that you want to increase as well. And they do give it back to you also.
And I love that there are, because years ago these options weren't available. It was, if you don't have the credit, you just don't have it. Nowadays, you need major credit cards to do a lot of things, car rentals, vacations or things like that. So definitely want to get at least one card, even if it's secure. You can start somewhere. Also, with the myth that you need money to build credit. We've got a product on our platform where you can use your rental reporting to build your credit. That wasn't available years ago. So now for someone who is aspiring to be a homeowner, and maybe you're not yet, you're paying rent somewhere, you can utilize those rental payments as a line of credit. So you can get that reported on your credit report, and that can boost your score. So when you're ready to purchase your home, that's a line of credit you got that's being reported positively as long as you're paying on time. Also, utility reporting. So there's a bunch of things out there that we could do to build credit without money or without a lot of money, but it can work in our favor. So it's just another form of leverage that I'm excited about, and I like to tell people about.
Awesome. Wow. Great tools you're given. So the last and final question that we're going to have in this segment is for entrepreneurs who are aspiring business owners. How can they begin to establish and build business credit separately from their personal credit? This is a great question.
Yeah, great question. And what I wanted to do, I'm going to only talk about a couple of these because there's so much to it. It's so broad and it's so big. So I'm going to talk about a couple of them and what I decided to do. If anybody has questions about anything further, I'm going to give my email address so they can email me and we can kind of talk about it, because I'd love to help anybody who needs help. But for entrepreneurs, and this is my specialty. I love this. I love talking to business owners because I do business funding. So for entrepreneurs, even aspiring business owners, how they can begin to establish credit that's separate from their personal credit. So what the first thing they need to do is establish your business properly. You got to establish properly. You got to form your LLC or your corporation, anything but a sole proprietorship. So you got to establish it properly. You can go to the irs.gov and get a free tax ID number, free EIN number. It's free. But so I'm gonna kind of put this in there. What we do on our platform, we work with entrepreneurs, people who have established businesses who may not have the credit that they want, or aspiring entrepreneurs who say, hey, I have a business idea, I just want to get started, but I don't know where to get started or what to do. We have something called the Business Credit Academy that will teach you everything that you need to know from A to Z. It'll teach you how to structure your business, how to get it properly to set up, how to get it registered, everything that you need to know about business. So when you finish the course, you're guaranteed $50,000 in funding. So I spoke with someone today who said, hey, I want to open a funeral home. I said, okay, you go ahead with that. I'm going to support you, but don't look for me maybe until I'm dead. But I'm going to help her to get started with that. She's already in the industry, but she wants to open her own home. So we have that Business Credit Academy to help aspiring entrepreneurs or even business owners who may not have the credit they need to leverage OPM to get where they want to be in business. So we will help you to do that. But that's the very first thing that you need to do. Establish your business and make sure that it's established properly on paper. Okay. The second thing that you need to do, of course, is get your EIN. Okay, that's your employer ID number. And that's important because that acts as your business's social security number. So it's separate from your personal social. And so that's important because then your information is not intermingled. So your assets are not commingled. So if something happens in your business and your business files bankruptcy, your personal money is not commingled with that. You personally don't have to file bankruptcy. So you can keep your you keep your funds, your personal funds. They're separate from your business funds. So you want to make sure. That's why it's important to establish your business properly on paper, so that you can have those entities separated, so that your personal funds are not affected by whatever is going on in your business. That's really, really important. The next thing is you want to open a business bank account. Of course, you're building your credit. And so, of course, you want to build your bank account as well in your business. You want to, again, have those funds separately, but you're in business to make money, right? So you want to open a business credit account, a business bank account, because that's one of the first things that they're going to ask you about. Hey, do you have a business bank account? How much do you have? How much assets do you have? What are your profit and losses for the last however long you've been in business? All of your financials, they're going to want to know that. So you're going to need a business bank account, again, separate from your personal bank account, because you don't want to commingle those funds. So that's very important. That's like the first step. Okay. Step two, what you want to do, you want to get your business listed and get it visible. You want people to know who you are. You want them to know what you do. You want them to know how to find you. So you want to get your business listed and visible. So you want to register your business address and your business phone number. Okay. Do you have a business address? Do you have a business phone number? Even if it's your personal home address and your personal phone number, it's your business address and your business phone number, unless you have an off-site building or something like that. You want to register those address and phone number, and you can use a service like virtual office, something like that. But you just want to get your business out there. You want to get it listed and you want to get it visible. The next thing is you want to list your business with major directories, okay, like the Yellow Pages, because you want people to be able to find you. Google Business, if possible, because you want people to be able to find you. Okay. Also, Dun and Bradstreet, which is a business credit building agency. So you definitely want to get on Dun and Bradstreet, because you want to then start building your business credit. So when people look for you, they can find you, and you've got a credit profile under your business where people can say, hey, I see this business, they're legitimate, they've got a business profile, they're out here on Yellow Pages, they're on Google, I can find them, they've got an address, they've got a phone number, you're a legitimate business. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to establish your business and make sure it's properly established on paper, and then go from there. So
Wow.
those are the first two steps. There are many, many more to that, because you want to start building your business credit. You want to, maybe a line of credit at Home Depot or whatever, depending on what it is you do and what do you need. Maybe you need equipment. You're going to need some credit somewhere. You're going to need a line of credit somewhere to get the stuff that you need, the equipment that you need, whatever you need for your business. Maybe you need to get some business funding. I can help you with that. So there are many, many things you need to do to establish your business, but you just want to get started somewhere. But the first thing is to make sure that it's legally on paper, structured and set up and established properly so that you can move forward from there.
Now, I know you mentioned that you are a part of a business that can help them to get the business funding, but they would need to go through a course. How long is the course for them to do in order to get or acquire that $50,000 funding?
Okay, so let me go back a little bit. So we work with established business owners, and aspiring entrepreneurs as well. So we may have a business owner who say, hey, I have a business. I've been in business for 5 or 10 years. I got sick and I was off a while and my business took a hit and I need some working capital. They may already have the credit score that they need. Their business credit may be where it needs to be. Maybe they just need some working capital. They may be okay to go straight to funding and not need to go through the course. So if that's the case, we're going to assess where they are. If they're okay to go to funding, I'll send them a link and they can go straight to funding. They can apply for free for business funding. If they get approved, they'll get the funding they need. We have a group of underwriters that assesses their information. I don't see anyone's information. We don't see any of that, personal information or anything. I don't see any of that. It goes to our underwriters. They do all the information. They'll contact the client and let them know, hey, this is where you are. This is what we can get for you. Hey, you asked for 50, but we can get you 25. Let's get you 25 now to get you started and see what else you need to do to maybe get additional funding. Okay. If that's the case, then what we would do is put them into our Business Credit Academy, which is what we suggest for anybody who's an aspiring entrepreneur coming in. Maybe you haven't established your business yet. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe you know what you want it to be. Maybe you're just getting started, but you're not quite there yet. Our Business Credit Academy is what we would put them into. We would suggest that they start our Business Credit Academy. So it is an AI-led course, but it's self-paced. So for most people, depending on how fast or slow you work it, you can do it within 4 to 6 months. Now, we do have a plan where you can pay for the year and you can get the annual plan and you've got 12 months to work on it. Some people do that because if you're a business owner, you're pretty busy. You may be a business owner, you may be a mom, you may be a dad. Some people still have a 9-to-5 job. It depends on what you have going on in your life. So you can say, hey, I'm just not with it this month. Life is life and things have come up, things have happened. They know that they have that 12 months in order to finish the course. So some people do that because they can just then work it at their own pace and they don't feel rushed to do it. Some people, for instance, the lady I spoke with earlier, she said, I need to do something like right now. So she wants to get in and kind of hit the ground running. So again, depending on how fast or slow you go through the course, the average person can finish it up in 4 to 6 months. Once the course is complete, you're guaranteed $50,000 in funding because then you're what we call bankable. And the other thing is when you're in the course, you're working on your credit as well. So I know people like to say business credit and personal credit are separate, but they're actually not separate. The funds are separate, your business accounts are separate, but your credit and your business credit and personal credit are directly linked. They're together. So if your personal credit is not where you want to be, that's going to affect your business credit. So while you're in the Business Credit Academy, you're not only working on your business, learning about your business, structuring it, setting it up, and learning how to run a business, you're also working on your credit. So once you finish the course, you're going to be what we call bankable. That means your credit is going to be at a certain level. You're going to have a certain score where you can then go anywhere and get funding. So we want to help you to get there at the end of the course. We're going to make sure that you're bankable and we're going to guarantee you $50,000 in funding because we know you're bankable because you've gone through the course and we help you to get there.
Awesome. I love it.
This is the last thing I want to say about that. Whatever you pay for the Business Credit Academy, you're going to get credit for it at the end when you go and do your loan because every loan has a closing. So when you go to your closing, you're going to get credit back for everything that you paid into the course. So basically the course is free. We just want you to finish it. So we're just here to help people.
Wow, what a blessing. That's amazing. That is a great tip that you just gave at the end because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it and they're like, how much does it cost? And you just gave them the the exact thing that they might have needed in order to push through and say, you know what, this is something I need to do. So if guys, if you are listening and this is something that you have a business that an idea that you want to start, reach out to Renee. She's going to give me her email. We're going to drop it in the description. And you guys can not only reach out to her for questions, but also reach out to her if you want to be able to get that business funded and join that business platform as well. So thank you, Renee.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lynn. It was a pleasure being on again. Yeah, just always an exciting time, always so much fun, and just blessed to sit with you every time I come on. It's just something really amazing. So thank you again for having me on. I can't wait to come back. Thank your listeners. I love you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you. And we will see you on the next time. And we still have some more questions to respond to. So I know you're going to be back most likely next month in, in the next month. We're in April right now. So most likely in May, but this podcast episode won't be dropped till another few weeks. So you'll be back on after it drops, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah. I know I mentioned earlier about a bonus. So I saw a question about purchasing a home. So we all know that the market's crazy right now. I think somebody asked a question about the market. What are the indications that it's going up or down or in the favor of buying or selling? What we like to tell clients, because I'm a mortgage loan originator as well, there is no perfect time or imperfect time to purchase or sell a home. You know, we're always going to need somewhere to live. People are always going to be buying and selling homes. Now, when the market's down, of course, we say it's a seller's market. When it's up, we say it's a buyer's market, whatever it is. But, you know, so when rates are up, there's not as much competition out there. So you can still purchase a home because you can always refinance. So even if the rates are not ideal to where you want them to be, you don't have as much competition out there. So you may be able to get the home of your dreams, maybe that 5 people aren't trying to put a contract on. So that's a plus for the buyer. When the rates are down, of course, that's a plus as well, but there's more competition there. So what we say, it doesn't matter where the rates are. If you want to purchase a home because the rates are always going to go down. It's going to go up and down. The market's always fluctuating. When it goes down, just refi. But you've got of your dreams.
You just burst another myth, child. For real, because a lot of people, I hear it all the time. Oh, it's not the right time to buy a house. This is happening. But you just basically made it so simple. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you're ready to buy a home, go ahead. And again, Miss Renee does that as well. So let her know.
One little nugget, and this is what we say in the industry: you date the rate, but you marry the home. So, you know, the average mortgage, we get a mortgage and we sign a 30-year mortgage. I have one as well, but I won't be here 30 years. So I'm dating the rate. The average mortgage lasts only 5 years, guys. Listen to that. Not 30 years, but 5 years is the average mortgage. So it doesn't matter what the rates are. Get the house if you want it, because odds are you're not going to be there in 5 years anywhere. You're either going to sell, you're going to move, you're going to do whatever. You may move out of the country, you may move to another state, you may get a job somewhere else. Date the rate. It doesn't matter. You can always refinance. Marry the house, date the rate. That's it.
Date the rate. You don't marry the rate. You just date it.
Because it's not the rate, it's the house. If it's your dream home, if you walk in and you say, this is it, honey, buy it. The rate doesn't. You're dating the rate. You're only dating the rate. It's not long term.
That's a great concept and a great mindset to have when looking to purchase a home. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. That impacted me just now too. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, so we're going to wrap up now. I know that you have something that you need to get onto, so we're going to just go ahead and wrap up. But thank you again for blessing us with your information, your knowledge around this field, and equipping us to move forward in not only our credit, but even in purchasing homes as well. So I appreciate that and everything that you shared. We gained so much from all that you have shared. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. So yes, if your listeners want to connect with me on Facebook, Renee Will, on Instagram, it's ER_ICKA152. And also they can always email me. I'm at Wilson McCasey Consultants at gmail.com. Wilson is WILSAN, McCasey MCCASEY Consultants at gmail.com. So reach out to me and I'll answer your questions or help you to get started in whatever way you need to get started. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.
Perfect. Listen, we just gained so much knowledge in how to build our credit with all those tools that Miss Renee gave us, and even a bonus on how to view the market in reference to purchasing a home. So that's a wrap for today's episode of Living Purposely on Purpose with me, Coach Lynn. I hope you guys took some notes because she gave a lot of gems and knowledge on how to navigate the credit system right now. So I hope you guys, if you're dealing with this, and even if you're not, just to stay on track, you can still use those tools as well. And if this episode you found it useful and helpful, please bless this podcast by subscribing, by leaving a review, leaving a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And remember, purpose isn't something that you find, it's something that you live. Keep pushing forward, keep trusting God, and I'll see you next week for another powerful episode. Have a blessed day, guys.